Alright, so what do we have here? We have Tabletop, Pine Tabletop guitar, number 5, 060821. And let's see what the features are. Well, the features are, as you can see right away, it's got a Gibson Maestro vibrola on it. And it's my first time ever using this tremolo system. And all it is I like the fact that it's very simple. It's a simple bent piece of spring steel, and as you can see, all you do is you bend it up or down. It's not as light of a touch as a Bigsby is. It takes more muscle, especially as you progress in the travel of it. But it does work. A lot of it depends on how well it's made. These are made in China these days, and depends on, I guess, who manufactures it and how they make it, and the way the spring steel is bent is crucial in how the arm sits. I mean, you can get some that the arm's way up here or some that are really low, and this one was also defective in that when I first installed it, I realized that the arm broke off. It wasn't mounted. I don't know how it's mounted on there. It doesn't seem like it's welded on. It's some kind of a friction fit or something. It's pressed in there somehow. And the arm itself came loose, and if you take a look at it closely, I had to silver braze it back on. Now, I did a good job, so you can't see it much. I mean, it works great on a relic guitar, of course. It fits. It's befitting. If you've got rough surfaces, discoloration, that sort of thing. So what silver brazing is, it's not like soldering. You use this very thin silver wire, and both pieces of metal, in this case that ring, the metal ring, and the arm right around here, they have to be red hot. This is not like what they call low temperature soldering. It's high temperature. Everything's got to be red hot. Soldering is low temperature, and it's done basically with lead, and lead solder is the purpose of it is that it can be disassembled with also low heat at any time. So the difference between soldering and brazing is the amount of heat used, and soldering is temporary and brazing is permanent. So everything here has to be red hot for the silver to flow. The silver brazing is used on metal joints that are permanent, and they are not to be disassembled, desoldered, taken apart. So the reason I have the equipment for that and know how to do that is because I have also got experience with wind musical instruments, meaning like trumpets and saxophones and that sort of thing. And a lot of the joints in those instruments that are not to be removed are silver soldered, so they're permanent. So what I did is, I mean, other people would have to throw this out, of course, but what I did is I just silver soldered it right here, and it is extremely strong now. Now, care has to be taken that you don't heat up like the arm, the metal of the arm too much, only in that spot, I guess. But if you heat up steel, you anneal it and it becomes soft. And you don't want a tremolo arm to be soft.
It
right?
would just, the metal would bend, the arm would bend every time you were to use it. As you may realize, that you may have guessed that the other big difficulty here is that when I'm getting that area red hot, I mean, I truly mean red hot, all right, like the range on your stove, right? Because if both pieces are not red hot, the silver will not flow, and you will not be able to solder the two pieces together. So the other big challenge here is the plastic handle on the arm, and what will happen to that if the arm itself gets too hot all the way up to the plastic. Well, the plastic will melt. Now that didn't happen because I got the skills, my friend. I got the skills, and I have the intelligence to know how to do that so that no damage occurs.
Now, some engineering had to take place here. I had to see this whole arm would normally sit on this flatwork here, flush to that, and I had to raise it. So I raised it with a nylon spacer, cleverly, to raise the whole arm so that it clears the volume knob. Now, Gibson never had that problem because they put their knobs way the hell back here where you could never reach it while you're playing. Now, I fixed that problem, but then the vibrola would hit it. So by raising it, I eliminated that problem. So then we go to the Gretsch bridge, and if you watch how clever that is, as the strings move, the bridge pivots with the strings, right? See that? And that helps the tuning. Okay? Are you with me? And so this thing is stays in tune as well as a non-trem. If this was non-trem, it would stays tuned just as well. You can hear it, right? I can go up and down all day, and it's perfectly in tune. See? Now that also has to do with my Mission Impossible secret nut material and a few other things, and also my string retainer bar way back here, and I also used locking tuners for this one. Look at that nut. And so you've got a guitar second to none here. For those toddlers who are looking for that, what is it called? Private stock PRS. This is not a guitar for you. And I discourage many people. If you only knew, you'd be shocked. And I tell them straight, sorry man, you sound like a great guy, but the Zachary guitar is not for you. It's really not for you. And I don't want people to find out the hard way after they buy it, and it's really not for me. And I can pretty well tell way beforehand, just by doing an analysis on the potential customer, and I help you out. I tell you straight out, this guitar is not for you. This is not what will gratify you.
I could never understand why somebody, if you can't play guitar worth two shits, why would you want to buy one of these? It's just, it's ridiculous. You're obviously mentally ill. You're not in touch with reality about yourself. And I certainly don't want these to go to people that can't play worth two shits, because it's useless to you. It's just a fucking tabletop then to you. You know what I mean? You might as well cut an onion on it. And I don't want to see that. I want these to be played. You think it's just my personality. I'm not there to suck up to you on the internet, as they all fucking do. All these garbage toddler guitar builders, they all are sucking. They'll suck your cock if they have to. All right? Just to sell you something. And I'm thinking, like, why? What's the purpose? The fucking guy can't use it. What's going to happen to the guitar? If he can't use it, it's useless to you. So fuck off. It's useless to you. I'm doing you a favor. I'm being honest. I'm being totally sincere with you. You don't like that, right? I've been doing this for 25 years, been trying to tell you this. And sometimes I got burnt. I got real pieces of shit. They got a hold of my work. My art. And I hate to even think about it. And you know who you are. And I hope you're not with us any longer. I hope you were gone from the rat poison. I hope the alien got ya. You understand? If you can't play with two shits, if your intelligence is below average, then you're going to commit an atrocity. You're going to commit a shameful act. If you're going to do that, commit a true shameful act and buy a PRS. There's a purpose for them. It's for you. That's what a PRS is for. The more expensive, the better.
But if you're a hardcore player, then this is the only guitar for you, or any Zachary guitar. Anyway, so this trem can be taken off with those 3 screws. I forget what I did. I believe yes, I did do that. It's been a while. I'm behind in my videos. And the other thing is, if you guys enjoy this, I'll keep doing the videos. If I don't get very much viewers, if I get no interaction, no engagement in these videos, then obviously no one's watching. So why, waste of time in doing them? So you let me know if you want them, all 28 of you, or 27 now.
I heard that we lost one of you in the Great Plague, which is still going on. It's very sad, and I'm afraid we're going to lose more of you. So my channel will be like, it's just going to be me and another couple of guys watching. Plus, I'm shadow banned like crazy because I'm talking about the alien constantly. And don't tell me you don't know this. The alien owns YouTube and the entire internet. Yes, that's right. The alien does. viewers don't know that. So if you get something out of this,
you know, I got to get something back from you too. It's got to be a fair exchange here. You know what I mean? You can't just fucking take in the content and walk away. That's not good. Try that with a woman and see what happens. You got to put out, my friend. So, yeah, I was just about to tell you that these are set into metal inserts. So these are not wood screws. These are machine screws. So these can come out very easily. The trem taken off, and this can be turned into a hardtail guitar using these eyelets here. Isn't that clever? These eyelets with the strings going from the back of the guitar through the body. Very clever. And of course, it's not for the private stock PRS or any type of, you know, you've got the new guitar players now who are buying these extremely fancy guitars
for between $300 and $500.
And they've got so much product out there, that it's mind-boggling. I mean, I don't know who buys all this product. There's zillions of brands, and they all come out of 3 factories in China now, and zillions of color combinations and fancy wood and veneer and trem this and pickups that, and holy shit, and it's all covered in thick plastic. So it really doesn't matter what brand you buy. But the point I'm trying to make is, who the hell's buying this stuff? I never run into guitar players anymore. I mean, I go back to the 70s. I go back to the 80s. And everywhere I went, there were guitar players. Let me guess. You'd go up to a guy. You'd say, let me guess, you play guitar? Yep, I do. Been playing for years. Okay, I go somewhere else, you know, like your parents take you to people's houses. Yep, the kids are playing guitar. Not anymore. So who the fuck is buying this? Are there really that many lesbians that are buying? Apparently lesbians are nuts about guitars these days, but that's the only subculture that I know of. I mean, the young teenage male is, young white males these days. They've been chemically altered, biologically modified, organically. They're inorganic. What are they called? Those foods? Genetically modified. That's what I'm looking for.
You know, you simply just can't play guitar very well if you're low on testosterone, or if you've been neutered either physically or mentally, or both. That's why this generation, the guitar is going nowhere. Trust me on that. It'll all be simulated. It'll be virtual guitar sounds, which is what we hear with all this digital recording and processing and auto-tune and Pro Tools and all that garbage. Where did it go? Simply plugging your guitar into an amp. Where did all that go? It's gone. And gone with it is the human that produced organic sounds. The organic human is gone, and so are the organic sounds. It's all the achievement of the alien, because the alien is building a world of their own, and you have no place in it. Fucking toddler! You have no place in it. None of us do. Get that through your fucking head.
The alien just simply cannot leave my mind. God, what's going on? aliens are responsible for everything in the world, and where our world and humanity is heading, which is not in a good place, not in a good place at all. But I was talking about screws, was I not? Yes, I was talking about these screws. So these are machine screws, and as you know, machine screws are not like wood screws. They have machine threads on it, and machine threads are designed to thread into metal, and in this case, metal inserts. So I've got metal inserts in there, 3 of them. So it's just a matter of, and it's gone. The trim's gone. And then you could thread it through here. Okay, so I've gone through that, right? Now, particularly proud of this knob. This is a rotary switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 6-way rotary switch with an oxblood, which is vintage correct color. I think most of these chicken head vintage knobs going back 50, 70, 100 years back, they were this oxblood color, so I had to use it. It's appropriate for this guitar. Do you understand what I'm trying to get at here? Everything has got to fit. Everything's got to be appropriate. And I hate figured wood. If you like figured wood, get the... I can't swear anymore on these videos, even for like emphasis, dramatic emphasis, because I've been told that there's toddlers in the room. Now, I knew that all the time, that there were toddlers in the room watching. There's toddlers everywhere. But I thought that these toddlers would be over the age of 20. But, you know, they're in their 30s, they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Definitely over the age of 20, these toddlers. But I was told that there was actually a 5-year-old toddler in the room. Who gives a fuck, right? People are telling me how to do my shit? I don't think so. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, the pickups are really cool. Now, these pickups look like humbuckers, right? Regular humbuckers, right? Well, you're wrong, dude. You're wrong. The reason you're wrong is because they're magpole buckers. Magpole buckers. And I invented magpole buckers. Now, what do magpole buckers do again? So I can reiterate what I said before, several times before. Magpole buckers mean, even though they don't look it, do they? But this is built like a fender coil. The inside coils are built like a fender coil. And then the outside coils are identical to a Gibson stud coil.
I meant to say slug coil. I use stud and slug interchangeably. All right, as long as you know that. Slug coil, which is one side of your humbucker. Take a look.
Okay. But instead of having a screw coil like on a Gibson style PAF humbucker, what you have is you have a humbucker bobbin, a PAF bobbin, but instead of the screws, I actually have fender magnets in them, right? Is that clear?
See, I'm giving you all this detailed explanation because there's one thing that I love. I adore. All right? It's better than anything I can imagine in the world. It's the joy I have is when tinkerers copy me. Hey, it's not just tinkerers, it's mega huge corporations that copy me. And then they put it out as if it was their own achievement, the pieces of fucking garbage. You got no talent. They were just placed in there through nepotism. That's all it is. And they scour the internet or whatever they do and look for, you know, small creators like myself, and they say, ooh, let's steal that, and give it a big, huge marketing campaign, and it's ours. You pieces of fucking shit, you. Corporations, you global homo pieces of garbage. You're gonna burn in hell, no matter who you are. Oh, I absolutely love it. So I want to make sure you understand everything in detail so you can very accurately copy my work, my intellectual property, because I absolutely love it. And when you do that, I just ask for one thing in return. Never give me any credit. Do not give me any credit. Pass it off as your own work. You hear me? Never give Alex any credit for what he has done. Just go ahead and steal all my intellectual property. Steal my creativity. Steal my innovations. Steal my mind and pass it off as your own. And then you can show it off to the masses in the sea of toddlers. And they're gonna say, wow, man, you're amazing. You're so creative. Wow. Can we send you money? You're one of us and you're so good at what you do. How did you ever come up with that? Wow. We love you. All right? Be the fucking toddler that you are meant to be.
So when I put it into single coil mode, then these act as the single coils, the inside coils, the fender side of the pickup. And so here's the switching. This is neck humbucker in the first position. Then you go to neck single coil, which again is the inside coil only. Then you go to third one. See, I even have it marked. My favorite. These are the two extremes. Those markers, those studs in there. That's the extreme. It's one extreme of the rotation, and that's the other extreme of the rotation. So this is position 1. So position 3 is both single coils together. So those are the both inside coils. It's my favorite. It's a very stratty, it's sonically out of phase, but not electronically out of phase. Now there's a good explanation for you, actually. So the fourth position is what is the fourth position? Oh yeah, it's both humbuckers together. So that means all 4 coils together. So that's like your usual. So both pickups are in humbucking mode in that position. Okay. So then you go to the 5th position, and that is bridge single coil, inside coil only. All right. And so you're gonna get a strat sound out of that. And then the 6th position is bridge humbucker. So both coils in the bridge. So you got a lot of sounds there to play with, right? And then moving right along, you've got a mahogany neck with a Pau Ferro fingerboard. And you've got your usual 24 stainless steel frets. How about that? 24 stainless steel frets. And you've got your Of course, you've got your volume. You've got your master tone. It's all you need. And the volume is in a spot where you can reach it very well as you're playing, manipulate it as you're playing, either decreasing or increasing your gain or doing volume swells. And this one has the jack on top. It's kind of like, this is a thinner Les Paul. It's thinner, you can tell. It's a little bit thinner because I explained that to you, because the tabletop was thinner than 1 3/4 inches. So this is more along the lines of, kind of has the vibe of a melody maker, which is was a budget Gibson vintage guitar, and I think they brought it back since then, and coated it with plastic as usual, and whatever. So let's turn it over and let me show you the headstock, of course. See that? Tuners are great, vintage style, very lightweight. You don't want to put fucking sorry toddlers, I swore again. You don't want to put like Grover Rotomatic boat anchor tuners on here, right? That would be stupid. That would be a sign of a tinkerer that would be working on guitars, because everything has got to fit in terms of visually and in terms of form and function, right? And so here's the mahogany neck, and then of course you've got the back of it with the spike neck joint and the electronics. Got the rotary switch. See, everything is there nicely. And then you've got your string holes, and you got the back of the table.
See, you can tell how my work is must be highly offensive to a lot of people. If you're a type B male, beta male bunny with a type B personality, this stuff is automatically offensive to you, highly offensive. It goes against your whole philosophy and your whole identity. And that's one of the reasons I do things the way I do things. To confirm that you're a fucking toddler.
And you got the back of the table after I removed all the bubble gum. God. And so the table lives on, does it not? The table lives on. And the whole thing is lightweight. What are we looking at in terms of lightweight here? We're looking at... Well, I just realized I didn't weigh this thing yet. Well, it's going to have slightly different weight with the trem on and the trem off. I mean, I don't recommend people taking the trem on and off. I mean, you don't want to disturb a guitar. When a guitar is set up nice, plays well, leave it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it unless you're a fucking toddler, okay? Don't touch it. And don't take it to a tinkerer to touch it either. A lot of tinkerers. Some toddlers become tinkerers, and that's where the problem is. That's why, the world is going to hell, is because of so many toddlers out there. And some of them become tinkerers, and it's a bad, bad scene. So, look at that. Look at that. Okay. So, I just realized something. According to my documentation,
it's, again, you're not going to believe this. Without the Maestro vibrola, it's 6 pounds. The alien has determining everything in the world, including the weight of my guitars. This demonic force, this vile, depraved, satanic force of the alien is taking over everything. And it seems like all these tabletop guitars are like 6 pounds. So this is 6 pounds without the vibrola, and it's 6.6 pounds with the vibrola. I'm not joking. I'm fucking scared. I'm terrified. Look what the fucking alien has done to China. Hang in there, toddlers. You made it happen with your fucking masks. And by your compliance, you made it happen. It's gonna be brutal, and it's gonna be sadistic, and it's gonna be sheer terror. 6 pounds without, and 6.6 with the vibrola. Oh my goodness.
now I do want to add that the bridge is at a permanent height, perfect for the vibrola. Okay. And it's mounted on custom-made studs that I made. Okay, custom-made screws. And it is mounted on these brass bases, okay, which are not to be moved or turned, because on the current type of Zachary guitar, for the last number of years, the string height is adjusted by the neck angle, and the neck angle is adjusted with the neck spike angle adjustment. So it's very clever. The bridge stays put exactly where it is, very solid, right down to the wood, and shouldn't be touched, of course, but especially not by tinkerers. But if it needs to be, then which it shouldn't, and if you think it needs to be, then you're wrong, most likely. But the string height is adjusted by the tilting of the neck with the neck spike. So it's another very interesting feature of this. Comes in handy when you've got a tremolo guitar. It simplifies things and makes things actually quite fast, quite quick. But again, one needs to be familiarized with how to work the neck spike, and there's a proper way to handle things, proper procedures. If not, you're going to do something stupid, and you're going to be marked with a toddler. Your virus mask will have toddler written on it in red, permanent marker, and that's how you're going to walk around everywhere you go with your toddler mask having the word toddler on it if you do stupid shit. Okay? So I don't want people to do stupid shit. And if I realize that you're prone to doing stupid shit and your IQ is below, let's say, 150, then a Zachary guitar is not for you. If you don't know the Alien, the Zachary guitar is not for you. So you have to have not necessarily playing skills, believe it or not, but you have to have a fairly high standard of intelligence. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So that's pretty well it. It's pretty well it, and you'll hear the sound samples.
Now, I fully understand. I fully get that every one of you is a much more talented and just better player than I am. I understand I'm just absolute shit, okay? But I'm trying my best, okay? I'm trying to get you to hear what, well, I know it's not happening. You're not really getting the true sound of these guitars and how great they are, but I can only do my best. I know you can all do better. And I gotta live with that every moment of every day. Believe me. I gotta live with that. You don't have to tell me. Alright? You know, you should be grateful. There was a big line. There's a big lineup when God was, if you're religious, that is. If you believe in God. God was handing out talent. It was a big fucking line. And I got there late, okay? I got there late. And I was toward the back of the line. Alright. And there wasn't much talent left by the time I got there. And if you were towards the front of the line, just be grateful. And don't make me feel bad, okay? Don't take away my self-confidence, please. My self-esteem is already pretty low. So, I only deserve 28 subscribers. I understand that, but I'm doing my best. So, I know you're all better than I am. Okay? All right?
This is bridge humbucking. Great single coil. Both humbucking. Both single coil. I gotta oil up the string. It's making a noise on the bridge. This is probably my favorite pickup setting. Both pickups in single coil mode. So the inside coils of both pickups. See how well it plays in tune? Except my sleeve is touching the strings and making them go dead. Okay, so this is single coil neck. Next single coil. See, perfectly in tune. See that? See that? Just imagine this is a Woodstock. It's very psychedelic. Next single coil. Still in tune. Perfectly. It's a tone monster. So many tones in here. I could hang with Hendrix at Woodstock. See, I don't want to put it down, it's so fun. Until I break a string. Humbucker, bridge. I need a drummer. Single coil bridge. I got my own timing, my own syncopation here. Listen to this chord. All 6 strings. What chord is that? I have no idea. I bet you Rick Beato would know. Where's Rick Beato when you need him? Oh no! I'm scratching up the top of the guitar with the vibrato arm! And I have no plastic finish on All right. All right. Well, guess what? Guess what? Here we have a Bigsby telly, of course. Another tremolo type of guitar, but this time it's a Bigsby. And it's the big news here is that it's a Bigsby that you have never seen before, because it doesn't exist. It's all custom modified. So I'll tell you what I did. This is, by the way, this is tabletop number 6. It's the final tabletop. I could barely get it out of the table, but I got it out because I had to have 6.
It has to be 6 to satisfy the alien. It's gotta be always 6. You know what I mean. 6 million. 6 million. 6. It must be 6! Or else you're committing a criminal act. It's by law now. Or it will be soon, wherever you are. It must be 6. Or the alien will put you in jail forever. Because Moloch does not like it if it's not 6. A criminal act.
I had to get as many guitars out of that as I possibly could.
I had to get 6 guitars out of that tabletop. Or the alien would punish me. And punish all of humanity if it wasn't 6.
We could. It's kind of like a challenge, you know what I mean? Anybody can go and buy fucking fancy wood and tinker on it and probably fucking wreck it, but...
Yeah, so take a guess what a tinkerer would do. They would buy this really fancy, figured, burl, quilted, flamed atrocity, and they would want to make a PRS, because the more figured the wood, the better quality the guitar. Everybody knows that. And everybody knows that a PRS is the highest quality guitar that you can buy. And then they would fucking make a mess out of it. You fucking toddler, you! Tinkerer. Toddlers turn tinkerers. Tinkerer is always a toddler. But a toddler can easily become a tinkerer.
It's a challenge to find something and save it, you know. It's like saving a kitten that you find on the side of the road, you know, and
bring it home. Do the right thing. Save a life.
I've done that before, and several times. Yeah, saving this piece of wood, you know, with all its history. And here's the Bigsby, and this started out, what are these called? I think they're the B5. I think it's called a B5, and then if you know what that's, or you look that up, what that looks like, it's there's a whole bar mechanism in here. And, well, let me show you. I think I still have it. I'm not sure. Let me look, and I'll be right back. Well, I found it, but I don't know what you could see out of this, but I've got tape on it so I don't lose the pieces. I don't know why I'm keeping the pieces, but I'm keeping them. I keep everything. And see, this was mounted onto the Bigsby right there. See, that looks more familiar, right? Now, but the big problem with these Bigsbys is that, and you see these on Les Pauls, and it's just atrocious. Creates all kinds of problems and tuning problems, and oh, it's just hard on that poor bridge and Les Paul bridge, because see, this bar, this retainer bar, is too low.
It's actually a roller, but it's too low to the body surface of the guitar, and it's non-adjustable.
And it puts these strings at a very steep angle going up to the bridge, so meaning that it puts tremendous pressure on the bridge. And a lot of those Les Pauls, especially the original two pneumatic bridges, they would bend from all that pressure over time. And then you've got all kinds of problems. You can't even set up the guitar, and the neck angle is wrong, and oh god. So anyway, this Bigsby, and then when you're moving the Bigsby, puts even more pressure on those strings, but I guess nobody with brains could figure that out over the years. And that's why the aliens took over, because the average person is just a naive dumb fuck. And so maybe they deserve to be annihilated. The alien is smarter, and all the aliens are working as a group towards a single goal of killing everybody.
And absolute world domination. Look around you. You can see it. You can see it. You can feel it. Look around you. World domination by the alien. You look around you. Are you fucking that much of a toddler? Are you? Did you take the snake oil the alien gave you? Did you take the alien snake oil? Did you? I hope you did.
It's as simple as that. But getting back to this, so what I did is I had to cut this off. So I cut it off. All right. And I made it really nice so that a toddler comes along, they won't even be able to tell that there's anything was done to this. But if you look, you can't buy a Bigsby bridge like this that's totally missing that piece. And see, I rounded everything off, so it looks totally original. And then these are again machine screws, and they go into metal threaded inserts that are pressed into, grafted into the wood, flush with the wood top. So 4 screws. There's another screw underneath that spring, that Bigsby spring, and this comes right off by undoing 4 screws. And then underneath here, very cleverly countersunk into the flush to the top of the body, so they don't stick out, are 6 eyelets for the strings.
Did I say 6 again? I'm really glad I did. 6-string guitar with 6 eyelets, and it's 6 pounds, and I got 6 out of the fucking tabletop. Now, if you play a guitar other than a 6-string guitar, you're going to fucking jail, buddy. You deserve to. If you play a 7-string guitar, an 8-string guitar, a 5-string banjo, Moloch ain't gonna like it. And your whole fucking family will be destroyed in the process. The alien is brutal in their revenge, vindictiveness, terror.
So this thing can also be set up as a non-tremolo guitar. Why you would do that, I don't know. Don't be stupid and do that. I guess you could be curious and do it once or whatever, but what can you do? What can you do to people, you know? That's why the alien's winning. I keep telling you that, because you're stupid, that's why. And you're trusting.
And you're gullible. And you have no education on the alien. You don't know the alien.
And you're brainwashed by religion that the alien made up for you. Oh well. Let's get off this alien topic, please. My brain is just fixated on the alien. What's going on here? It's because every minute we find out new things that the alien brings us, and brings us closer and closer to hell. So you can't help but be fixated by the alien. So anyway, so then I realized that I still need a little downward pressure to get that break angle from the Bigsby bar to the saddles of the bridge. So I had to fabricate, do a little engineering, my own little bar. Okay, and there it is, and that's also in metal inserts. And it's very simple, clever, functional, efficient, clean.
And it works perfectly. See, this is what I'm trying to get at. Because I'm independent, and because I'm not geared towards a commercial product or mass production, sales, dealerships, oh my God, masses of toddlers, marketing. I can do whatever I want. I can just let my creativity fly. Just liberate my creativity and come up with anything that comes to me. I'm improvising while I'm building, with my building, just like as if I was improvising solo or writing music. That's what I do. This is what that piece of shit alien cannot do. Mainly because he doesn't have the talent to do it. Aliens only have one talent, and that's yapping. Well, they got other talents too, like manipulation, fraud, massive amounts of gaslighting, trickery, hoaxes, all over the place. Everything they do is phony. Yes, it all falls under deception. That's what they're good at, not guitar building. That's what I do. So now you get it? Good.
And when you're playing the Bigsby, you can see everything moves. The Gretsch bridge tilts. This whole bar mechanism here moves as well. So you get perfect tuning. See it? Look at that. Look at that. Trouble with Bigsby, you can't go up too far because then the spring pops out. That's got to be solved somehow. So I want to go way up. Watch that. Watch that whole mechanism. You know? Isn't that cool? Perfect tuning, see? And I didn't even tune this guitar prior to bringing it here to show you.
See, the whole thing works as a system, and it's designed to move with the Bigsby action, with the tremolo action. It has to move. The bridge was made to tilt, and then the retainer bar that puts the angle on the strings also has to move. Everything coordinated with the Bigsby action. Cool, huh?
And this is the same material as my nut material, so it's really non-friction. And so there you go. Again, this is what's the scale length on this thing? It's this is a 25-inch scale. All the other 5 tabletops are 624 millimeter, which is vintage Gibson. So this is a 25-inch, dare I say, the same as a PRS. And this one has a maple neck on it. And everything is, as you can see, everything is relict, all the hardware. I made this plate, custom made the plate, so that I can put a rotary switch in there. 1, 2, 3. This is a 3-way simple rotary switch. Everything is very vintage oriented here. It's got to look antique, man. It's got to look like it comes out of the 40s before Fender. And but it's designed way better than a Fender Tele would be, of course. And so I made this plate out of aluminum and strategically placed the controls in a certain spot. And again, you can play the volume very easily. It's very accessible. And then you've got just your simple 3-way switch, rotary switch, chicken head knob. Everything is aged. The plastic is aged. Metal hardware. Look at that bridge. Isn't that cool? Lots of pictures on the website.
It's gotta have that authentic patina. And that's where the artistry comes in. Because I don't like shiny stuff, and I don't like figured wood. We'll let that half-alien Paul Smith deal with that shit. We deal with the real stuff here, tangible and profound. Sincerity! You know what that means? And reality. See, if you deal with all that ostentatious garbage, it's nothing less than deception. And I think that's the main reason I hate it. It's deception. It's deceiving the toddler. And if the alien deceives the toddler, the alien humiliates the toddler. And the alien does it for their own amusement. And then the alien feels superior to all the toddlers because they fooled the toddler, and this time they're gonna really fool the toddler. They already have. There's no turning back. Did the alien fool you by any chance? Because you don't know the alien. That's probably why. The alien doesn't want you to know the alien. The less you know, the more you can be deceived. Did you hear that, Brian May? The legendary guitar player of Queen. Did you hear that? Brian May is sick, I hear. Couldn't happen to a better person. It's totally not surprising that Brian May works for the alien. Brian May dances with the alien. Brian May is an agent of the alien. Always has been a lifetime agent of the alien, an asset of the alien. He sold his soul to the alien. And did you know that the alien killed Freddie Mercury? There was nothing wrong with Freddie Mercury. But Freddie Mercury, along with Brian May, who was knighted by the alien, they didn't know the alien. And Freddie took the snake oil a long time ago. And the alien killed Freddie. Did you know that? The alien killed Freddie. So the reason that Brian May is so detestable is because he had to hold up his end of the bargain just in the last few years. It's all part of it. If you're going to be knighted by the alien, you're dancing with the alien. He was promoting something nasty, and evil. 2 years ago, I even brought it up on this program, on this channel. If you follow me, and if you recall, he was doing evil shit. And no, he wasn't promoting anything to do with music or music gear. Nothing to do with music. He was promoting death. Brian May was promoting death and deceiving. He's a lifetime actor for the alien. And you should know something. Anybody who is knighted, I believe he was knighted by the Queen. Queen was knighted by the Queen. He got some kind of a title, royal recognition, which is actually a metaphor or code word or code for recognition by the alien for a job well done. A lot of them get Nobel Prizes also, because the alien owns this world. Maybe not the next one, but definitely this one. You should know that anybody that gets that is one nasty piece of shit. They've sold their soul to the devil. And you wouldn't think of Brian May, right? You thought, well, this guy's an okay guy, you know, he seems to play really well. We love his music, their music. You wouldn't think it, would you? But he's satanic. And now, apparently, he's going to pay for it. He sold his soul. He's got $255 million or whatever he's worth. And it's all useless. He's going to hell. If there is a hell. And he didn't learn, did he? He didn't learn that Freddie Mercury never had the disease that they said he had. Because that disease never existed. It was just another huge hoax through and through. They killed him. Killed him with the drugs. He died from the treatment. They killed him. They poisoned him. And Brian May didn't learn. So, there's only one question. And you should ask yourself this question, and you can answer yourself the best you can. Is Brian May an idiot? Or is Brian May malicious and satanic? Which is it? Which is it? Now, then also you have to tell yourself that, ask yourself that, could someone with a PhD in astrophysics be an idiot? Is that possible? Strangely enough, it is. Having a PhD doesn't make you particularly smart or individualistic or perceptive. Doesn't make you any of that. It just makes you a fucking follower and a compliant zombie. So, let's hope the aliens can finish the job on Brian May. Oh, just one more thing for you to remember. You didn't hear this from Rick Beato, okay? You will never hear this from Rick Beato. Because in terms of perception, Rick Beato is tone deaf.
And then I made the pickups. Now, what are these pickups? Again, the pickups are different on every guitar. Isn't that something? It just keeps my interest and my inspiration fresh and active. Now, these pickups are interesting because I gone back to my fetish of using 38 gauge magnet wire. And what that means is it's thicker wire. It's quite thick wire. And it's the same wire that was used in the very first Gibson pickup for guitar, which is the Charlie Christian pickup. And that's why that pickup is so large, so heavy. One of the reasons it's so heavy. The other reason it's heavy is because it's got these huge magnets on it. Well, this one doesn't have those huge magnets. But what it does have is it has 38 gauge wire. And that's why I can't even put... I had to make this a lot taller, this bobbin. This is a custom-made bobbin. I made this, the flat work myself to accommodate all this. And
all right, let me just show you something really interesting. What has to be done? Some real engineering has to take place, and unique innovations come through. If the alien allows it, that is, because the alien controls everything. But take a look at this, what has to be done if you're going to use 38 gauge wire to build a Telecaster bridge pickup. Here, side by side, you will see on the left, it's actually a Seymour Duncan vintage spec Telecaster bridge pickup. That's what a regular Telecaster bridge pickup looks like. And beside it is the pickup I made. Now, I'm not sure if that exact pickup is the one that's in this guitar. I forget now. But it's very similar to the one you see on the right. Now, you see the difference between the two, okay? You will also notice that Seymour Duncan and all the other pickup makers, big and small and unheard of and super famous in the world, same with guitar manufacturers, big and small, super famous, hyped up, whatever the fuck it is. They make a lot of products with flaws. They maintain the flaws. They make them wrong. They make them defective in design or poor in design or something that doesn't work as well as it should. Something that's off. It's because the toddler demands it. Okay? So on the left, you will see the original spec Telecaster pickup that Seymour Duncan made, and all the bowl pieces are flush. Alright? So what you're going to get is a very loud low E and a loud high E, and everything in between will be underpowered in terms of volume. Alright, so the volume of the strings will not be equal to every other string. In fact, they will be all over the place because you have to take into account the magnetic pull of each string as well, and the construction of each string and the thickness of each string, especially the core, is going to be different. So that's why a stagger is so important. And of course, the most obvious thing is the curvature of the fingerboard and the curvature of the strings above the fingerboard, which is puts the middle strings way higher than the low E and the high E. Of course, that's the most obvious reason to put in a stagger. And not only any kind of stagger, but a researched, correct stagger, so that every string is going to have the same amount of volume when you're playing the guitar. And that's not what they're doing, because they're catering to the stupidity of the fucking toddler. As always, everything is brought down to the level, the low intelligence, the low knowledge, the low education, the low perception of the toddler. And this is why I say give the toddler the snake oil. Because those pull pieces are not staggered correctly for them to pick up each string the same amount. It's just another piece of stupidity that aggravates me and makes me disrespect toddlers, either the manufacturers or the consumers.
Okay, so what I did on these pickups is I basically built two pickups which both have the same type of wire, 38 gauge wire, and both have the same amount of turns, therefore both have the exact same amount of resistance, so therefore they would not balance normally, would they? Except for the fact that they have different magnets, which makes all the difference. This one has Alnico 3 magnets, which are supposed to be the weakest magnets that are used on guitar pickups. So these are Alnico 3s. They hardly have any pull on them at all. And they give a very warm, kind of a darker tone. So because of the different magnets, these two pickups contrast quite a bit. And what you have here is because of the height of the coil, which I had to use to fit the 38 gauge wire on there, the number of turns that I wanted to use to fit it on here, I could not fit it on here on a regular Telecaster bridge pickup height of a coil. It wouldn't fit on there. It'd fall off the edges, and that would not be good because it's a much thicker wire. So what I had to do is I had to increase the height from the bottom plate to the top plate. And so to do that, I could not use even the tallest, the longest Telecaster magnets and still get the stagger that I want. So what I had to do is I had to change the design of this pickup into a Charlie Christian style of pickup. So this is a hybrid Telecaster and Charlie Christian all in one, because it has the Charlie Christian thick wire, and it has these are not magnets. These pole pieces are not magnets. These pole pieces are magnets. These are not magnets. These are simply steel rod that I cut to length, and I beveled the edges on top, and I can cut it as long as I want to get this custom height of the coil. But since these are not magnets, I had to put the magnets underneath, just like on the Charlie Christian pickup. On the Charlie Christian pickup, you also have the steel pole piece, which is not magnetized. It's magnetized from the magnet from the bottom, but themselves are not magnetic. Well, they're not magnets, is what I'm trying to say. These are magnets. These are not magnets. So just like on the traditional Charlie Christian pickup, the magnets are underneath, which magnetize these steel rods. Well, just like a humbucker, I guess, just like a P90, really, except there you have screws. And on a traditional Charlie Christian, you have, instead of individual rods, you have a bar going across.
Or you can call it more accurately a steel blade, which then has to be either contoured or recessed or whatever to calibrate it to the individual magnetic pull and distance of the strings from the blade.
With the individual rods, I can calibrate the exact stagger that I want. I don't have to possibly grind a shape into the single bar that I would put on here, right? On like that's found on the traditional Charlie Christian. So, if you're following me here, this has much stronger ceramic magnets underneath, which magnetize these long steel not magnet pole pieces. It's really a hybrid pickup. I don't think it's ever been done before. Definitely people don't have these pickups in their guitars. They've never used one, heard one, seen one, whatever. What I had to do is I had to make steel. So these are not the magnets. These are steel pole pieces that I custom made, custom beveled, and they're extra long. They're quite long, actually, to the taller bobbin, much taller than regular telly bobbin, in order to accommodate the appropriate number of winds of the thick 38 gauge wire. You need a bigger bobbin, taller bobbin, and so I couldn't use the relatively short Telecaster magnets, so I could not use magnets in these pole pieces. I had to use steel, call it steel rods, steel studs. So these are just steel rods in here. Look like magnets, but they're not. And then the magnet is underneath it. Okay, 2 magnets underneath it, charging, magnetizing these steel rods. Wow. It's very much like kind of like a P90 setup,
or more accurately a Charlie Christian setup. But the Charlie Christian was the predecessor of the P90, so it just came right before it. So there you go. It's a hybrid. Telecaster, Charlie Christian, P90.
So this is a real hybrid type of pickup. So what you got, I mean, the bottom line is that you've got 2 very different pickups
in terms of tone.
So you can go from a nice warm jazzy feel of a clean guitar tone
in the neck position
to the biting telly,
bright twangy tone
for the bridge. And even though
both of these pickups have the exact same number of turns, they have the exact same gauge of wire, and therefore they have the exact same resistance, capacitance, ohm reading.
Normally, if the magnets were also the same, these would not balance, because the neck pickup is always louder because of where it's positioned. There's just a lot more vibration here from the strings to create a lot more current
in the neck position.
So this pickup always has to be weaker than the bridge. And the way I achieve that is with the magnets, because if the magnets are stronger, the pickup is going to be hotter, given everything else is the same for both pickups. So that's that for the pickups. So moving right along, you've got again 24 large and tall frets,
stainless steel as usual,
which makes playing wonderful, string bending wonderful. And it's not like these very low Gibson frets or vintage frets, which I personally cannot play. That's why vintage guitars don't work for me unless I refret them immediately. So, you know, these are big frets, and they're tall. That's the main thing, for them to be tall, so you can do great bends all the time. And everything is relict, as you can see. Look at the Bigsby, how that's relict, and the control plate and the knobs and the bridge. Every screw is relict to match, and even the fingerboard wood is relict in terms of coloration. And then it has to have a white nut on it of my Mission Impossible material.
It's just more vintage appropriate, period correct, to have a white colored nut.
And even the tuner buttons are relict, and with use, they look a little blotchy now, but with use, they will become more uniformly nice and yellowed. Again, locking tuners, and on this one, I decided to use the more modern type of sealed tuners, as you will see when I turn the guitar around. Getting back to the pickups, though, is if you notice, I have a perfect stagger on them, because you know, as much as these people want to expose their ignorance, flat pole pieces
with no stagger, flush to the flatwork, the top of the coil,
of the vintage type, of the first vintage type of tele guitars, they may sound good, but in terms of volume, they're not balanced. And that would, you know, if you have half a brain, perceptional ability, it would bother the shit out of you.
Which would result where one string is louder than the strings beside it, and each string has a different volume. So that drives me nuts.
You know, one note is not as loud as the other, and that particularly bothers me. So that's why the stagger has got to be perfect, and I worked so hard on getting those pole piece stagger correct. So look at the neck is on an angle
in order to accommodate the Bigsby.
Then we got the back of it, and the back of it is also relict The wood's relic. It's dyed. I use dyes. I use colored waxes and everything like that, and oils. And look at the beautiful maple neck, how weathered it is to match the rest of the guitar. And then here's the Goto seal tuners. I thought I could get away with it here and still make it appropriate, because they are also relict. They are also relict, including the screws I use. And there's a serial number, 25, 11, 21. All right. And then here's the neck screws, the spike, tilt adjustment. And then here are the string holes. If one wants to use this as a see, look at that. See? If one wants to use this as a non-trem guitar, and I don't know what else to tell you. The dots are maple to match the maple neck. Everything's got to match. Everything's got to be appropriate. Nothing out of place. Historically correct. You know, it's this thing was not made historically, but it could have been, and you have to respect of what would have been done if this was an actual historic guitar, including the vintage style Jack Cup.
My goal, as always, is to make it historic, make it authentic, make it appropriate, respect the design, but fix all the design flaws and make it truly a modern player, a modern performer. That's why this is not meant for the toddler, because none of this really makes a difference for the toddler. Things like nostalgia and legacy and having the exact same instrument as their heroes had, and visually have it be identical to what players with notoriety from the past were playing. That's what's of importance to the toddler. So I don't do stuff for the toddler. It's just not what they need. It's not what they want. And I wouldn't recommend it to them. Because toddlers, which comprise, I would say, huge number, probably about 80% or more of the, and I'm not even talking about now, I'm talking about in general, traditionally speaking, at least 80-85%, maybe even 90% of the people that are guitar consumers who go out and buy a guitar of, at any price. It could be a very low price, cheap instrument all the way up to thousands and thousands of dollars. These consumers, like I say, anywhere from 80 to 90%, are not players. Either they're very casual, sporadic players, more so leaning towards having a guitar as a collectible item, as a visual prop, something they look at mostly, just something to display. Either that, or they are not accomplished enough to appreciate or demand any of the nuances that have to do with a high performance instrument for playing, because simply they cannot utilize, thus appreciate those virtues of the instrument. So it's meaningless to them. It's irrelevant. And that's the way this industry functions, the guitar industry. It's a lot of it is impulse buys, and a lot of it is emotional purchasing, based on heavy marketing by mainstream, authoritative, institutionalized sources. And as we have seen in the medical industry, in the mass media sector, that's where the influence comes from. It's not a intellectual or pragmatic decision when buying a guitar. Not with everyone, but with most of them, it's not. So, if you want to sell guitars, you got to get into that market. So, Zachary guitars, every Zachary guitar, are made for the high performance player. They're high performance machines for the high performance player. Or if you aspire to be a high performance player. I don't duplicate all the flaws that these historic instruments came with. I'll give you the vibe. I'll give you the organic feel of a handmade vintage guitar. Of course, that's a must. But I will improve it everywhere I can without taking away from its fundamental identity. Understand? Compare that to something like a reissue, and if you go to Instagram, these toddlers, I guess the only joy they have left in life is to take photographs of their guitars, and everything is about visually being identical to what was in the past. So therefore, even guitar companies must not improve on anything. They have to keep it the same. And it all comes down to it not being very usable, or not being usable to its optimum potential. If only a few things were changed, and if only a few things were corrected about the design, it would make 100% better instrument. But it's not done, because that's not what the toddler was gonna pay money for. Because the toddler is not really into playing. The toddler is into fantasy. It's a religious experience. It's spiritual, which is fantasy. It's religious nonsense. And I don't do that here. Alright, here's this guitar, number 230, serial number 251121, without the Bigsby.
like that. Okay, some more of the bridge pickup. I use aluminum strap buttons to keep the weight down. And the pickups again. And the weight of this is, listen to this, 5.8 pounds without the Bigsby and 6.5 pounds with the Bigsby. 5.8 and 6.5. That's a lightweight guitar. You know what it feels like to play a lightweight guitar? It feels like you can fly. It feels like there's nothing in your hands. It feels like it's part of your body. And that's exactly what you're looking for. You don't want to have a concrete slab, because then you kind of feel separated from the instrument, right? You want it, you don't even want to notice it. You just want the music to just come through, like it's not even there. Alright, so what do we got here? Some more weird pickups. Get this big one in here. It's got a Bigsby, much lighter touch than the vibrola. I haven't played this guitar in a couple of months, and I just remembered that I forgot to tune it. It's pretty much perfect tuning after sitting there for 2 months. Put it up a bit louder, let's see. There's that chord again. Only Rick Beato knows what it is. Perfect tuning. Not having been tuned for months. go to bridge. Let's go to neck. Very sweet. Both pickups. Let your personality come through when you play, regardless of how fucked up you really are. Because if I want to hear Stevie Ray Vaughan, I will listen to the real deal! And I want to hear mistakes. Let's go to bridge. Pull up on it too until the spring pops out. Then it goes out of tune. But if the spring stays in, as you can hear, perfect tuning. So don't play it like Stevie Ray Vaughan! Play it like you. Let your personality shine through. Perfect tuning. With Bigsby.